To another Listen to Me Talk as background music, baby. I feel like it's been a minute, but really, I don't think it's been that long. I feel like it's only been a week, maybe a couple days since my last post on here. I know, like, for me, I definitely had to take a step back and see and realize that why I started this and why I'm doing more of these kinds of videos is to free my mind with no pressure and not feeling like I have a deadline or not feeling like I have to and I need to accomplish something at a certain amount of time, and it just puts too much pressure. Like what I'm trying to achieve with my content a lot in general, not even just this YouTube video stuff, not even the TikToks, just like all around and even in my life is applying less pressure. People always say, "Oh, pressure makes diamonds." Like you gotta add that pressure. You gotta put your foot on the gas and just go. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to make it out. But honestly, I feel like that super grind set hustle mentality can be toxic in certain ways. Obviously, work hard, grind, hustle, but I think it's always about balance. And every time I get into this zone, I always give myself deadlines and I start making schedules for myself and all this stuff. And it's good to have structure. It's good to have routine in certain aspects of your life. But if it's getting to the point where it's adding too much pressure and you're not being yourself on camera and you feel like a everything that you want to do is a chore and not something you're looking forward to, then I think it's important to take a step back and kind of reflect and see where your true intentions are with everything. Because my intentions with this is, like I said, just being able to free my mind about anything, talk about anything, talk freely without judgment, and be able to pass on whatever knowledge I can and just share and inspire and overall keep company. You know what I mean? I feel like over the years, the reason I've been realizing that trying to reflect why I do what I do. Why do I make these YouTube videos? What keeps me going? Why do I keep making YouTube shorts? Why do I keep doing reels and TikToks and fashion videos and life videos and everything that I do? Why do I do what I do? Because I started getting into just like therapy, spirituality. Like I'm not in therapy, but I've been watching a lot of YouTube podcasts about men getting into therapy and men dealing with their emotions and trying to find the root of where aspects of their life stem from. You know what I mean? Like, why do I create and why do I want to work so hard? And maybe it's trauma in my childhood and my upbringing of where I was taught that if you're not first, you're last. That you always have to be the best and you have to strive to be number one. Otherwise, you're a failure. If you're not winning, and if you're not even just winning, if you're not the number one person in the room, then you've already lost. And that's been ingrained in my mind from childhood, from my parents, from my sibling. Just overall, like failure is not an option. It's things kind of feel life or death, and it's nobody's fault. It's generational. I don't know if it's generational trauma or just generations of teaching certain morals, and the world changes, society changes, and where my parents come from, they're immigrants, so they have a very traditional mentality of how life should be lived, and that you gotta succeed for your family, you gotta succeed to take care of everybody, you gotta do all these things, and even though you're not well, you have to still be able to take care of other people, before yourself, and be super selfless and always give, give, give. Even if you don't receive, just keep giving because life will give back to you somehow. And maybe it's Catholic Christian mentality or old Filipino, traditional Filipino mentality and how you grow up and just all these things that I'm learning about myself and how I want to move forward in life. Because if you want to move forward in life, you're going to have to look back and see where the roots stem from and how you can rearrange those roots to maximize the growth in your future. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense, but see, even that, like, I don't know if I made sense. Like the doubt in myself of whether I'm right or wrong, like it feels like, oh man, like I don't want to be wrong about myself, so I'm just gonna have that little cushion of like, but I don't know. It's like when you give your homeboy or homegirl advice, and you're just like, I don't know though. Like don't just take it with a grain of salt. It's just you're not very confident in what you're saying. And I feel like that was built into me as a kid. Like I was always afraid of failure. I was always afraid of doing the wrong thing because I would be punished. I was never abused, guys. I was never like, obviously traditionally, you know what I mean? Like you get fucking, like, if you're Filipino, you understand what I mean. Like you're not getting fucking abused and beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, just discipline is the word I'm looking for. I was growing up, man. Like, I don't believe I was a bad kid. I think I was just acting way too smart for my age. Like, I would have this. Maybe it's because, like I said, like I was always taught you got to be the best, you got to be the smartest, and so I put up this persona of, yeah, I am the smartest in the room. I am the best in the room, and I even know better than my parents. You guys want me to think that I'm the best? Then I'm better than you guys. I know better. And I like I said, I love my mom and how she raised me. I appreciate how she raised me, and even my sister, how she raised me and took care of me. I will always appreciate and be grateful for that. But I'm just sharing, like, my experience. It's never like, things can be both negative and positive at the same time. You know what I mean? I feel like that's also a thing. Like there's nothing always black and white, like right or wrong. Like I've always been taught like, oh, it's life or death and it's right or wrong. But really there's a gray area to things. Like there's never a wrong answer. There's never a right answer. Just choices and just lessons learned. You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah. So I always felt like I had to live up to somebody to be this person. And I just always thought I knew the right answer, even as a kid, like, no, it's this, it's this. I was a very stubborn person. My parents would always say, like, you're just so stubborn, like, you're hard headed. Like, if you're Filipino, tigas ulo, that's what I was. I would have never listened. I was restless. I always thought I knew better than everybody. I always thought I was right. There was me being wrong. Even if deep down I knew I was wrong, I would try to twist people's words to believe that I'm right and twist the situation to make it I'm right. And that is a very, very toxic thing. But like I said, I was young. And when I say young, like childhood, like from single digit elementary age till I was in high school, I was kind of like this already. And even now, sometimes I get those aspects of myself where I always have to be the smartest one in the room. But like I said, that's how I always thought, if you're not first, you're last. I have to kind of present myself in a way where I am the best. Yeah. Even if you really look at the deep rooted, like Filipino traditional way of family in general, and I know all the Filipinos can relate, but when your parents are talking shit to you, to your face, and telling you all these things, but then when they go to Filipino functions or any kind of parties, and they gas you up in front of the family, and it feels nice, like it's nice to say that you have like successful kids and all these things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Being proud of your kid is a great feeling for a child, and being proud of your kids is a great feeling as a parent. It feels like you succeeded as a parent, and maybe that's what my mom was going through. Maybe she was just wanting to know that she was able to succeed as a parent, that she raised a good child. And that's what they want to spread to other uncles and aunties, your titas and titos and your lolos and your lolas, your kuyas and your ates. Like, they want to show that they're proud. Like Filipinos, one thing I will always appreciate is their pride. And Filipinos are very proud people. We don't have a lot. We don't have a lot to our names. We've been colonized. We don't have an original culture almost. It's very little. So any type of representation or any type of time where we can be proud of ourselves, we'll own that. We'll be proud. Like fucking any Filipino celebrity out in the wild, like even if they're just a little bit Filipino. Bruno Mars, ay, Philippines. Philippines, he's Filipino. Oh my gosh, Olivia Rodrigo, she's half Filipino. Haley Steinfeld, she's a little bit Filipino. Anything at all. If you're a little Filipino, bro, we will own you. Like, you are our celebrity. You're our God. You're our king. You know, and it's like, again, it's the pride thing. Like, we want to have that kind of pride in what we have for people to be able, and maybe it's for people to be able to see us, you know, as somebody worthy, somebody that we need that like validation, you know. And that's just I don't know if that's just a Filipino thing, but that's definitely a pattern that I see. And therapy and looking back is always just looking for patterns in your life. And that's a pattern I notice. We always want to be proud of something. And maybe that's why I grew up the way I grew up and had to be the best and always had to prove something and tried so hard and took it so hard on myself when I would fail. And I became my worst critic, is because if I wasn't doing the best, if I wasn't number one, then I wouldn't get the validation and pride that I was looking for and seeking through my parents and my family. And it would make me really upset because I would feel like I failed as a person, because if I don't make them proud, then I don't make them happy, and I don't get to take care of them the way they want me to in the future. And like, that's just the Filipino way, where it's, you are raised to take care of family, and family comes first. And no matter what you're going through, even if you're going through the worst financial situations or you're going through the worst mental situations, you still got to help out other people. And I don't know if I'm still navigating whether that's something I want to keep in my life or not. Obviously, I love helping people, but at the expense of my own mental health and emotional health and physical and financial health. I feel like that is an issue that a lot of traditional Filipino families have, where we're not able to build generational wealth, and we're not able to just be afloat, you know, and like have things because we're always giving when we don't even have enough ourselves. And that's like a positive negative, if that makes any sense. Like, it's like the generosity and the idea of helping is very, very positive. But the negative aspect of it is doing it till even when you yourself have nothing to give. And that takes a toll on you. And like, how can you build that generational wealth when you can't even build it for yourself? You know what I mean? Because we keep on giving, we keep on helping. And that is not a bad thing. It is not, like I said, it's a positive negative. And I think finding a balance between the two and trying to find times where I am able to help and take advantage of that and really be in the moment and just help when I can, that's healthy. But giving parts of myself when I don't even have enough for myself on the daily, I think that's where it's a little bit unhealthy, and I need to unlearn and learn that I need to take care of myself first before I take care of anybody else around me. Because if I want to take care of people around me, it starts here and then it radiates. The energy and my spirituality radiates around people. If I take care of myself, if I'm good, if I'm happy, if I'm healthy, financially secure, then I will be able to help 10 times, 100 times more than I would be able to when I'm depressed, not that financially great, and mentally and drained and physically and emotionally drained, you know. Like, maybe it's that mentality that I grew up with where I got to be 100% and the best before I enter anything. But I think it's a very fair, it's very fair of me to think that, where I need to be at my 100% before helping other people. You know what I mean? And that shows in my videos as well. You know, I always feel like if I'm depressed or very anxious around the time and I'm making videos out of anxiety and need of survival, and I feel like I'm making it just to try to feel something, not because I feel something that I want to share, then it shows in my content. I notice that it's not as great. It doesn't feel as alive. It doesn't feel as passionate. It doesn't feel as inspiring. It just feels like another video consisting of dead frames. You know what I mean? But whenever I feel alive and whenever I feel good about myself, whenever I feel healthy mentally and emotionally, I think it shows in my videos that it has that fire, it has that passion behind it, it has that inspiration behind it, it has everything that I want, it has my life in it, and you can really tell through the screen how I'm feeling based on how I'm feeling in real life. But yeah, and just like I said, like finding those roots of me and my past and is how something I've been trying to learn, and I might do therapy. You know what I mean? I'm very open to therapy. It's all about finding the right therapist. I've heard of stories of people trying and giving therapy a chance, but finding the right therapist is always the hardest part because you're sharing these aspects of your life. You're being vulnerable with a stranger and you're expecting them to help you. And the fact that there is this paywall, this wall of I can be vulnerable, but I have to pay for it. It feels kind of weird to me, but it makes sense. Obviously, everybody needs to get paid. It's a profession at the end of the day, and money makes the world go round. But, like I feel as if it can be easy to get caught up in a therapist that is only taking advantage of you for money. I'm not saying all therapists are like that. I'm not saying it's a generalization, but there are cases where some therapists will just milk you for money. And unfortunately, that's just how it is because it's easier to treat something than it is to fully cure it, right? And I think it's going to take me looking around for a while, somebody I really resonate with, somebody that I believe can help me and really help me uncover and discover myself and rediscover aspects of myself and unlearn and learn certain things and make breakthroughs for me and help me through those breakthroughs and even the breakdowns and breakups. Not breakup. I love my girlfriend, but you know what I mean? Just breaking up with parts of you. You know what I mean? Because breaking up with parts of you is very hard and something that we are not taught. We're taught that we are who we learn, what we learn. When we live, we learn, and what we learn becomes a part of us. And that in that case where everything becomes a part of us, we get lost in the things that we've learned. And I've learned that we're not always feeling like we're lost in the world. Maybe we're not lost in the world, but we're lost in ourselves because we don't even really know our beliefs anymore and our morals and what we want to keep in our lives because we've learned so much. As kids, we're sponges. Like if you really bag it, like I'm only 24 years old. Like my childhood was from 0 years old to like 18. That like 18 is still so young. You're a kid. You don't know what you're doing. You don't really start becoming an adult until you're like 21. So 18 years of just building and being a sponge and learning. And even now I'm learning so much. But there comes a case where it's time to unlearn and let go of things to be able to find new parts of yourself. I realized that the more of myself I let go, the more of myself I started to find again. Sometimes it's rediscovery. Sometimes it's new discoveries about yourself. Sometimes ideas evolve within you. Sometimes beliefs evolve within you. But I feel like when there's a lot of weight and pressure on you, those are the things that are parts of you that you've outgrown and that you have to be ready to let go of and surrender. Because we got to let go of what no longer serves us to be able to make room for brand new things that do. And it's hard letting go. I will be honest with you, whether it's letting go in a breakup, letting go of people, letting go of friendships that aren't watering your flower, letting go of items that have sentimental value, letting go of homes and having to move places, letting go of people and grieving and letting go of aspects of you, it's very hard. And we're never really taught how to let go. It's just something we do, you know? So what is the proper way to let go? I feel like I don't have a definitive answer for that because I myself, I'm still learning. But what has been working for me is finding something to gain and to replace the things I'm letting go of. It's like what they say about how to get rid of an addiction and old habits and bad habits is to replace them with something less bad or better. You know what I mean? It's like how I recently let go of not caffeinated drinks, very sugary sodas like Coke and Sprite. It's all these sugary drinks that has been like my kryptonite for so many years because I always grew with soda on the table and like I didn't like drinking water before when I was a kid, but now I'm a water drinker. Don't get me wrong. I love drinking water, but I still love soda. But I had to learn to let that go for my health, and I had to try to find things to replace it. You know what I mean? So I've been replacing it slowly with something less bad. So I've replaced regular Coke with Coke Zero because it got zero sugar, 0 calories. You know, I don't know the effects of the replacement sugar like aspartame. I think that's what the substitute sugars. I don't know what the effects are of that, but you know, slowly. And then maybe eventually I'll be a water only drinker, but life's too short to only be drinking fucking water. You know what I mean? But anyways, getting off topic. But like I said, being completely vulnerable with you guys, like I've had porn addictions for sure as a kid. You know what I mean? Like I discovered that shit way too young. And one way that I have overcome that before has been working out, you know, that natural instinct and pent up energy and frustration. Instead of fucking, you know, going crazy, I just take it out on the gym and it's way healthier, you know? And I just feel like I feel like there's a shame to some men for feeling sexual energy and feeling sexual. And I feel like it should be normal to open up about that, you know? And I feel like because it's so taboo, that's where men feel kind of ashamed of being a man sometimes, you know, and it's very scary because it is a very scary world for women. You know what I mean? Like men can be crazy, men can be disgusting, men can be absolutely horrific. You know what I mean? But trying to get into the root of that, maybe it's rooted in some kind of addictions or that taboo of being able to like that. Because what I think personally, like this is a deep topic that even I'm still trying to uncover. But what I've learned is sexual energy is creative energy, you know, if that makes sense. Because when you feel that sexual energy within you, it's because you want to create. You want to create a child. You want to create a human. That's the creative energy. And so being able to recognize that and seeing it, you learn where to redirect it, you know? So using that pent up sexual energy instead of wasting it and just shooting it out into the void of nothingness, use that into something else. You know, exercise. Take it out on exercise. Create. Distract yourself. Use that energy, because when you let go of that and you release it, like just being super open and real for a minute for the homeboys. Don't you ever feel drained? Like when you be doing that shit, like there's a reason for that. And the reason is because that's our kind of like our creative batteries, our energy. You know what I mean? And learning to deal with that and not project it onto women in a bad way, and not learning to project it onto the world and project it onto unhealthy things such as porn. is very important into learning about your sexual energy and learning about yourself and learning about your impulses. Impulses is huge. I have ADHD. I feel impulsive all the time. I've got intrusive thoughts. I've got terrible impulses I just can't hold in sometimes. But it's not about resisting. It's about redirecting. And I think that's something I'm starting to learn and realizing just even right now. Don't resist, redirect. If you feel an impulse that you have to get out, find a different way to get it out. Whether it be exercise, whether it be creative, doing something creative, whether it be reading, whether it be going on a run, going on a sprint, whether it be just talking it out, therapy. I truly believe everybody should go through therapy. I have myself never been through therapy, but I think just the idea of being able to empty your mind and talk out your feelings and let everything out and be able to feel and identify your emotions and be vulnerable and allow yourself to be one with the world and just releasing parts of you into the universe and hearing yourself say things out loud and having other people listen and understand and even having you listen and understand to yourself, I think is very important. I feel like it's like stretching in the morning. It's like a mental stretch. It's like, how do we improve our bodies? We work out, we lift, we do cardio for our hearts, we lift for our muscular strength, we stretch for flexibility. But what about here? What about the mental muscles? What about your brain? How do we exercise that? And people say like, oh, maybe reading, journaling. Journaling is great because you're letting it out into the world, but being able to actually say it, listen, have somebody listen and conversate, have a different perspective that's not just you within you, because your perspective on your thoughts is within you. Like, you're going to be biased to what and think about things, how you know how to think about things and how you've dealt with things over the years. But having somebody there as a catalyst to your thoughts and maybe think in a different way or in a different perspective is very important, I feel like, to rediscovering yourself and discovering new parts of yourself and kind of, like I said, unwinding those roots, finding those roots so you can essentially grow moving forward. Because like I said, if you want to move forward, sometimes you have to go back into your past and unwind the tangled roots, maximize that growth. Just overall, don't resist, redirect. I feel like we always resist. Like I said, maybe it's the Filipino thing, but I feel like there's a lot of things in my life where I resist because of pride, because of what I'm taught. But letting go of that pride and that negative ego that I've talked about before and really just diving into your past and finding the resistance there and learning to where to redirect it is going to be very detrimental. I don't know if that's the word for it, but very essential for your growth in the future, So what's today's big lesson? Don't resist, redirect. All right. Honestly, what's crazy is like I said, I've been trying to relieve the pressure because I wasn't going to talk about that. I had a set thing to talk about before because I started changing the titles to listen to me talk about blank as background noise. And then I started giving myself topics, but I realized the last time I did my last YouTube video, I gave that topic to myself before coming in. But then I remember, release the pressure, relieve the deadlines and relieve the box that's around me and open the box and think outside the box. And giving myself a topic to specifically talk about puts me in a box and I feel like I'm stuck in there. So I had to relearn and unlearn. I had to relearn that, lifting the pressure off myself and not to do that, not to give certain topics or titles to myself and just freely talk about what's going on in my mind and how I'm truly, genuinely feeling. I feel like that's what makes the organic conversation, gets the river flowing perfectly and gets the mind exercising and working properly, not just to limit myself. So even I learned something. I've learned so much just being able to let it out in these videos. So again, thank you for letting me share with you guys. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Check me out on all the socials. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Get the help you need. Again, resist. Don't resist. Redirect. All right? Love y'all. Take care. Peace out. See you in the next one.